Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday. How are you doing? It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you. Oh, uno momento. My iPad is sliding down. How are you guys doing on Thursday morning? How are you doing? I always forget if I have my charger on there. No bueno. Too heavy. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Welcome in. Let's chat a little bit today. I wanted to do 5 signs of insulin resistance. I've been talking to some people recently about just some of the symptoms and signs of insulin resistance. And I know that it can be kind of a little confusing sometimes, just because, I don't know. Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you. There was at one point that I was pulling up some information for a PowerPoint that I was going to do in the Facebook group. And it literally said that there were no symptoms of insulin resistance. And I thought, oh, y'all, Google, you're doing naughty, because that's not true at all. So I wanted to talk about that today so that people can have a little bit more clarity in their universe. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. How you doing? It's really nice to meet you. So I am an Italian girl that was raised by a type 2 insulin dependent dad that died at 63. And it really impacted my life. And I never thought that this was going to be my journey of talking to people about this, like ever on the face of the planet. But, when you grow up, just seeing the world through one lens, and then that lens kind of gets a little like things happen to make me question a lot of stuff. And so now with the information that I have, basically, I just know that because this is actually not a terminal diagnosis, there are so many people that can be helped. So many. And insulin resistance is absolutely off the charts. It's obnoxious in our country. It's obnoxious. What did we say yesterday? 74% of our country is obese. And 80% of Americans are pre-type 2 or type 2. So I just talk about this all the time. Good morning, Linda. Good to see you. Lack of sleep contributes. Georgia, it does. Is your name Georgia? I love that. Or no, you're a Georgia girl. Oh, but I do love the name Georgia. Hi, good to see you. Oh, everybody's jumping on. This is so fun. I love this. It's a party in the house. Magda. Hi, good morning. Good morning. Okay, so my own universe is that I'm the one in my family that avoided type 2 diabetes. And in my Italian family, there was a lot of, I'm not saying my entire Italian family, but in my immediate family, I'm the only one. And I took the path, I always talk about it, the path of supplementation. And my dad took the path of medication, and so did a lot of other people. And then he died at 63. This is a part of my questioning. The matrix, you guys. So most of you know this when you're on my content regularly, but if you're new to the show, then that's really kind of where this is coming from. Just a place of like, what the heck? Why have they given us such poor information? Oh, duh. Everything is supposed to be a Band-Aid and not a cure. Good morning, Sherry. Good to see you. And so I really do love giving you guys good information. And then I will give you even further resourcing if that's what you want. Meaning, there is a group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You can find that just by searching it in Facebook. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And every month we do a 5-day challenge. And the 5-day challenge, this is our 16th one, coming up in September of September 9th. And we'll go through insulin resistance and ingredient trade outs. And I'll give you like my pantry and my fridge is right over there. We'll do a pantry and a fridge reveal. And then we'll do supplementation. I talk about targeted supplements all the time. I think the ones that I had setting out, I just took them. So let's see, I have to find my 3 new ones. Targeted supplementation. This is literally how I started, because I was I did not think that I could trade out my foods. Like 100% did not think I would ever trade out my foods. I'm Italian. So I started with that. So I talk about that. And then we do a recipe. And the last recipe that we did in August was the lemon blueberry cheesecake bars. I don't remember how she calls them. And I'm telling you, you guys, they are such a freaking winner. of a bar. They are so good. I've had so many people make them now multiple times, including myself. I showed them yesterday. If you want to see the replay from yesterday, look at that. But if you are on the replay, let me know that you're on the replay and let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to know. And if you need to have testimonies on the trio, look at the top of the Instagram page. There's a pink highlight bubble, or in the group, it's guide number 4. I always tell people, like, get your hopes up. We're always told, by parents or relatives, don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. That is a really, really bad sentence. Let's stop saying that. Let's just eliminate that from our vocabulary. Get your hopes up. Get your hopes up. I was texting with somebody yesterday who she had some labs run. And this is why I come on here, because most of y'all, just like me, you're not doing labs, and that's okay. You don't have to. I'm not saying that you should be. I'm just saying that we're trying to navigate without, deep information, and there's nothing wrong with that in terms of this is not a terminal diagnosis. Now, obviously, if you're type 2 and you're insulin dependent, you got to follow, you got to know stuff. Like, I'm not silly. Like, hello, you have to track what's going on with your A1C. But I'm just saying in general, for somebody who's like, gosh, I feel like I have a hair on my nose. This is my issue right now. So hold on just a second. I can feel like a hair. It's tickling my nose. I had an eyelash earlier before I came on. It's all the things. So when somebody's just like, they're like, how do I know I'm insulin resistant? That's why I'm going to give you the 5 things, or 5 of many, but I'll give you some 5 here. And that's a really good way to just kind of know, like maybe a direction to go in. But she texted me, she said she had some labs done and she found out she's super deficient in a bunch of minerals, like a bunch. And I'm like, okay, let's fix that. I have exactly what you're looking for. And that's what she did. So this is a simple conversation. Most of the time we're talking about simple deficiencies. Okay. So this is not the complicated C word. When people get C, it's not that complicated word. This is insulin resistance. And even though 50%, half, every time you're sitting next to somebody, one of you is insulin resistant. Half in our society. Half. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is really bad. And yet it's not a terminal diagnosis. You don't need a team of oncologists. Okay. So let's get down to business. Let me know if any of these are you. Let me know if this resonates with you. Yes. Thank God. Let's get our hopes up. Yes, Sherry. Yes. Seriously, you guys. This is what I do every day. Give you hope, people. Come on. We can do this. If you had a bite of that lemon blueberry keto bar, you would have a lot of hope too. Let me just tell you right now. All right. Come on in from the balcony on TikTok. Please, if you guys would, do Cheryl. Yes. Tap on the screen. And if you want to share it out, you don't have to, but at least tap on the screen, because that's how people get noticed. People know then. That's an easy thing to get it out into the algorithm. Okay. 5 signs of insulin resistance. Let's see where you lie on this spectrum. Number 1, afternoon crash. You need a nap. Now, there are a lot of different reasons for that, but one of the main reasons is because when you're insulin resistant, your cell is closed to insulin shuttling glucose into your cell to give you energy, and you're not getting energy. You're also potentially exhausted, because if you're eating foods that are crashing your sugars, then that's what happens. I know, because in my 30s, I wanted to nap on the living room floor, and did frequently in the sun on a regular basis. I mean, I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was me. That was literally one of my very first signs. I didn't even know that it was. Number 1, Cheryl says, yep. Number 2, hormonal acne. This is why you see people with, it's the PCOS connection, the PCOS, the infertility, because of elevated testosterone. And so therefore the hormonal acne can set in. Okay. A lot of young people are like, why do I have all of this acne? That's a connection with insulin resistance. Number 3, high blood pressure. Insulin resistance causes you to retain too much water. And when you retain too much water, it increases. So how many times do we hear, it's the salt, it's the salt, get off the salt? No, 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 no. I understand. Yes, yes, yes. Table salt is trash, right? It's trash. It's not giving any mineral. It's got bad like chemicals usually in it, like, you know, your Morton salt or whatever. So that's why we talk about Himalayan salt, or we talk about Celtic salt or whatever. But it's not the salt. That's not the problem. The problem is the sugar, the insulin resistance, that's what's driving this. It's causing your body to retain. So yes, of course, if you then go to sushi tonight and you have a lot of soy sauce, super, super high in sodium, yeah, you might wake up like a little bit of a blowfish, but you have to turn back the insulin resistance. So testimony time. I have a customer who has been on the trio this summer. She started, I think, in the middle of June. Oh, I don't want to get that wrong, but I think I'm right. Okay, let's just say the beginning of June. By the middle of July, she had texted me and said that I'm 2 BP meds, because you're dealing with you're bringing down your insulin and your sugars. You're dealing with your liver function, your visceral belly fat. You're dealing with, let's turn back, let's go back like this. Okay, and when you can go back with your insulin resistance, that's when other things get better. That's number 3. Number 4, it's the weight gain or inability to gain weight, either one. And it's usually belly fat. It's usually midsection fat. That's number 4. Number 5, last one, the sugar cravings. Now, sugar cravings are super interesting because what's happening is your body wants quick energy. Going back to the conversation about the afternoon crash, the nap, your body is not getting, your cell is blocking the energy. It's blocking the insulin with the glucose at the door. And so you're not getting the energy you need. And so what's happening is you are not just exhausted because you're not getting the energy, but you're also now hungry. Maybe you're even hangry and your body wants fast energy. So you are craving to put pine into your wood stove, so to speak. Pine burns fast, hot and fast, as opposed to oak that burns slow. So your body is saying, I need energy. And so you're craving like carbs and sugars. And that actually, when you start to turn things back, let's talk now in reversal. When you start to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, that's why I talk about this all the time. When you start to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, this is what happens. You stop feeling like you need a nap in the afternoon and you have more energy. Your hormonal acne can begin to clear up. Your high blood pressure can begin to recede. And like I said, testimony of a customer of mine off of 2 BP meds this summer. Now she was doing that with her doctor, not with me. Okay. Number 4, the belly fat. Now that's the one that usually we want the most to go away. We want our belly fat to go away. Now with the trio, you're actually going to with visceral belly fat underneath, which is, I can't even talk about the levels of importance that is, because nobody wants to have fat around their organs, like your pancreas. Number 5, you will stop craving sugars so badly. All of a sudden, you will be like, oh, I'm feeling more stable in my in my like voracious cravings. That's the best part about feeling like you can start to have control again. And one of the things I hear a lot about the trio, and probably it's coming from one in particular, is the food noise begins to decrease because the sugar cravings go down and the appetite starts to come back into control. And this is without a GLP-1. And a GLP-1 is not dealing with, this is cellular. GLP-1 is dealing with knocking on the door of your pancreas and trying to get it to release more insulin. Okay. 2 completely different thought processes. Cellular. Okay. Now, having said that, what are some things that you can do right now? Okay. So Matt says, good morning, Matt. Good to see you. Okay, not as bad as, okay. So the afternoon crashes for you, Cheryl, are not as bad as last month. That's good. Good morning, Ernie. Good to meet you. Number 3, Cheryl says, nope, but super high homocysteine, elevated risk for cardiovascular. Interesting. So you don't have high blood pressure. That's really good. But super high homocysteine. Oops, type. Oh, yeah, you're fine. You're fine with the typos. That's like, I'm always wanting to not have like, especially when I'm doing voice texting, you guys. Oy vey. Good morning, Diane. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Everybody come in from the balcony. Come on in. And if you would take just to tap on the screen, I'd super appreciate it on TikTok. You guys are so good to me. Yeah, I know. Sure. I'm just seeing that now. The blowfish. That happens to me when I go to have sushi. I haven't had sushi now in years, but when I would, I'd wake up and I would just be like so puffy. Oh my gosh, it would be terrible. All right. And I do miss sushi, but that's okay. All right. Number 1, how can you turn this back? What are some things that you can do right now? So those are 5 things that are signs of insulin resistance. Let's talk about 5 ways to turn back your insulin resistance. Number 1, and I understand that this sounds like it's really dramatic, but I'm telling you, this is what I thought was going to be the hardest. And this is actually what was the easiest. I know this is crazy. You're not going to believe me. Number 1, eliminate grains, sugar, starchy vegetables. It is the reason I started with these. Because you're right. It is easier to take supplements. You're right. That is there is something easier. Oh, thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you more than you even know. Thank you so much. There is something easier than trading out your foods, and it is supplementation. Because you can set an alarm on your phone and take this one 3 times a day and take this one 2 times a day and take this one 2 times a day. Okay, you can do that. That's not hard. But the second thing that's actually the easiest is the ingredient trade out. Does anybody know what the hardest one is? If I were to it's not even on this list of things to do. But the hardest thing, you're going to go over to TikTok. Okay, Cheryl. Maybe I'm having Wi-Fi issues on Facebook. So, Cheryl, thank you so much. Why did you jump over to TikTok? Is it because Facebook was having issues? Let me know. I would like to know. Diane, the supplements are the trio. There are 3 supplements with 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I started them over 10 years ago. So this is the core of my conversation of helping people go back from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. And if you want information on that on TikTok, you have to go up to my profile. And then there's either a number there. Hi, Mary. There's either a number there that you can text me and say you were talking about this 3 supplement thing, this trio. Can I get a cart so I can look at them? Or you can jump over to Instagram. And the reason why Instagram is so helpful is because there's a pink highlight bubble at the top of the page, and it actually has a bunch of testimonies. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend looking at the testimonies. And if you're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, you can find in guide number 4 all of the testimonies there. So number 1, eliminate grain, sugar, and starchy vegetables. And this is a lot of what we do teach in the group. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. I teach different recipes because I want you guys to be able to trade out your one ingredient at a time, trade out your recipes, one recipe at a time. And pretty soon you have an arsenal that looks completely different. That's why during the challenge, the next one starts September 9th, I do a pantry and a fridge reveal. I want to take you into my cupboard, into my refrigerator, because I was the sugar addict. I was the literally let's just make pasta, butter, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's me. That's me. Trader Joe's salt and pepper kettle chips. I honestly never in a bazillion years thought that I would be eating, healthier, real food. Okay. But I'm telling you, if I can do this is why I have so much confidence in when I talk. I know that every single one of you can learn how to become a supplement taker, because I thought supplements were I didn't think that they were, but I treated ibuprofen like it was my supplement. I treated a weight loss med from Walmart that got banned like it was my supplement. I was not a supplement taker. I was not a let's get rid of sugar person. Not even close. So that's why I have such comments around this conversation. You just wanted to tap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Oh, you're amazing. Okay. I appreciate you. Carla, hi, I'm here. It's a regular routine. So glad to be here. Good to see you, Carla. Good to see you. Lynn, you can do, well, how do I say this? Are you talking about the group, the Facebook group? You can either just go search Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women on Facebook, or on my profile on Instagram, you'll see my link, which is my first last name, kirstenliebelt.com. Just scroll a tiny bit, see a Facebook blue button. Okay. That's where you'll see that. And you can, and there's not even a sign up. You don't even have to sign up. You just have to get into the group. This is all you have to do. You have to get into the group, get tagged in a free recipe PDF with pantry ideas, and then wait until September 9th. And I will go live on the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, 13th, because it's a 5-day at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time every single day. I will go live. And we just we gather around the campfire, and we basically like hash out this whole insulin resistance conversation and ingredient trade outs and pantry and fridge and all this stuff. You don't even have to sign up. There's no fee. This is all free content. The only thing that you have to do is commit to yourself that you want a different result, that you want to do something differently. The commitment is the payment, right? The actually getting on supplement routine is the investment. Like, invest 100% solely into yourself. Okay. That's the cost of admission. But otherwise, everything else, it's free 99. Have fun. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Have I heard anything about soaking potato? So Sherry, yes. Okay. So have I heard anything about soaking potatoes in cold water takes the starch out of the potato? Lynn says, okay, yes. Hearts to you, Lynn. Yeah, I've heard about resistant starch conversations. I've heard about all of them. I'm just not. No, I understand. I do. I understand. I think that number one, it gives a false conversation for somebody. Okay, pretend that you are type 2 and you think that just because somebody did a TikTok on it, that it's okay for you. My metabolic flexibility is different than your metabolic flexibility, different than somebody else's metabolic flexibility. So even the guys that are, which I like their content, that are testing their continuous glucose monitors on TikTok when they're doing this stuff, even that one guy will say, listen, this spiked my sugar, or this didn't spike my sugar, but either way, I'm not insulin resistant. I don't have metabolic issues. I'm not type 2. And so I feel like people have to understand that you can be further down a road. Now, potatoes are a better conversation for me. I would much rather talk about resistant starch in potatoes. Let's pretend it's 100% true for everybody all the time, over anything that's grain. Grain, to me, if everybody would just eliminate grain, your life would get so much better, so much faster. Immediately, right away, for so many reasons. I could do a complete live on that. And maybe that's what I need to do, because grains are so tainted, and so there's so many issues with grains and how much they spike your sugars. And they have pushed the gluten-free thing. A lot of people do need to be gluten-free. I get it. I know you love rice. I know it's a problem. It's a big problem. It is. And I did too. I was, as a little girl, I was fed. We didn't have money and I didn't know it. And I do remember having powdered milk and thinking that was extremely disgusting. Funny how now that's really expensive to buy powdered milk. But back then that was the cheap way to go, was to have powdered. And my mother would give us, when we didn't have any food for supper, she would make white rice and she would pour milk on it. And we would, of course, it'd be warm. So it's warm rice in milk, and then cinnamon and sugar. was for supper. So it literally was, rice is sugar, so sugar with sugar. But I remember that as being a comfort food, right? So I have a connection with rice also. Yeah, grains are horrific. You're welcome, Matt. I make you smile because I'm full of energy. Good. Matt is doing his dialysis session right now. So Matt is saying, careful with rice. I found they added plastic into the put in some pan dry and turn up the heat. The plastic turns black. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yes. Yes. So there's all sorts of stuff with rice in general, or just grains, any grain, you guys. Anyway, I have to get off of that because I just need to probably do a live on it. Okay. So number 1, eliminate grain, sugar, and starchy vegetables. And if I can do it as an Italian girl, so can you. Number 2, stress management, getting your sleep. It has such a huge impact. Studies are really now showing the correlation between lack of sleep and your insulin resistance being up the next day, your cortisol being up the next day. And that's when I talk to people about ashwagandha. I have a phenomenal ashwagandha that I started taking, and it has really changed things for me quite a bit, actually, even since May. But helping your stress, and ashwagandha, if you don't know, it's an adaptogenic herb, and it helps with stress, sleep, and mood. So this is why it's a very talked about herb, because especially for women, we're looking for that. We're looking for that help with mood stabilization because of hormonal imbalances, right? Sounds like kind of like a rice pudding, Sherry. Yes. And she did make a mean rice pudding. Oh my goodness. It was so amazing. She would bring it for Christmas Eve. I don't know what she did. She probably made it with straight cream, and yeah. You do rice cauliflower. Yes. Phenomenal trade out. Yes. Do rice cauliflower. You can even buy it in the frozen section at Aldi's, the frozen section at Costco. Like, it's everywhere now, right? It used to not be, but it is now. So very, very good. Management, number 2. And I'm just telling you, and I know that this is hard for us because we think, oh, I just don't sleep well, like this is normal. And what? No. You can turn this back. You probably need a good magnesium, and you probably need ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, the magnesium I buy is not actually from my own line, because it has a glycinate in it, and I want that glycinate, and it has L-theanine in it that has that's an amino, and that is very helpful. So the 2 of those together, I actually posted about it in my stories last night. If you're on my personal Facebook or on my Instagram, go to my stories from last night when I went to bed, and those 2 products, I'm talking about them because I have not had a weird night's sleep because of those 2. Now, understand, I'm also not on any prescriptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not battling anything else in those terms. So for me, those 2 things have made all the difference in the world for my own sleep since May. Okay. So that's just for me. But even just the ashwagandha is such a game changer for so many women. So eliminate grain, sugar, and starchy vegetables, stress management, getting your sleep. Number 3, proteins and healthy fats. When you sit down to eat, proteins and healthy fats, because they minimize blood sugar spikes. We talk about that a ton when we're talking about food, especially in the group. If you sit down and you have, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and don't feel bad about having steak and eggs for breakfast. Like, don't feel bad about how, like, well, I shouldn't be buying steak because, whatever, it's so expensive. Listen, by the time you've eliminated all of the other stuff that you've been eating, all of the other snacks and eating out and whatever, it's not that. Just go look at some of the grass-fed steaks at Aldi's. You'll be shocked. But if you have even just a smaller portion of beef and eggs for breakfast, your blood sugars will do this for hours and hours and hours. And it is so stabilizing. So that's number 3. Number 4 is strength training. They really have proved, that strength training and building muscle is very stabilizing for your blood sugars. And so you don't want to lose lean muscle mass. That's another reason why to really focus on protein. You want to maintain your lean muscle mass, because your lean muscle mass actually helps you not only to be stable, but it helps you to stabilize your blood sugars. So that's really where that comes in. And that is strength training. And then number 5 is to supplement, because you literally can change the way that your body is functioning from the inside out. We have to begin the process of undoing what has been done. If you take your vehicle into a mechanic to get your oil changed, to get your antifreeze, I don't know vehicles, but if you're topping off your fluids, you're rotating your tires, you're doing whatever, and you literally never stop for decades and decades and decades and think, gosh, I wonder if I should ever do something for my liver. It's literally the same thing. If you went in and you had black, disgusting, thick oil, your mechanic would look at you and go, why are you even, like, how did you not change your oil for 70,000 miles? How did you do that? Nobody does that. Like, your engine is literally, you're going to, is that what you say? You crack the block of the engine? That's what we're doing to our bodies over and over and over again. We're feeding them this ultra processed food with just filled with corn syrup that only your liver can metabolize. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, has to go through your liver. We're giving ourselves all of these seed oils that are industrialized. They're not even real oil. It's just horrific for our bodies. Even Maria Emmerich has done information on saying that seed oils are a higher driver of type 2 diabetes than even sugar is. I mean, that's a very stunning statement. And we've just been doing this for so long now, and we've been expecting our bodies to function. And that's not how this works. You can reverse fatty liver until you can't. You can reverse type 2 until, like my dad, he had had so many medical procedures. He had had so much happen to him that he just up and died at 63. At some point, your body says, tapping out, I'm done. Okay? So dealing with your body on a cellular level to turn things back around, like the trio. And on Facebook, you can put trio in the comments and I will answer you after I get off of here. Instagram, you have to get into my inbox, and TikTok. If you'll just go to my profile up here, there's an Instagram icon. You can portal over to Instagram and talk to me over there in my inbox, because I can't send things on TikTok. I can't send anything clickable or watchable or to help you. I can't do any of that. It's just the way that it is over there. But if you will begin to adopt the thought process that you can change how your body is functioning so that you can go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, oh my gosh, you guys, literally the weight loss alone, I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. And I didn't even come online and talk about this for a very, very, very long time, because I thought that, well, I thought a lot of things, but one of them was I was the one who was not type 2. So I thought that I couldn't talk to people who were type 2 because I'm the one who avoided it. But then I started getting local clients talking to me about helping their type 2. And then I went online and I started talking about it a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And then all of a sudden people started taking the trio and they started sending me their blood tests. Oh my gosh, my morning sugars went down 30 points. Oh my gosh, I finally lost 15 pounds, 25 pounds. Oh my gosh, my A1's down. Oh my gosh, I'm off of 2 BP meds. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, game on, let's talk. So you guys gave me the data that can be found in the pink highlight bubble on top of Instagram, or guide 4 in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. But I'm just telling you, like, you can shift things. So Sherry asks, Judy, thank you so much. She says, this is a beautiful color on me. I appreciate that. Is eating fruits okay? The only fruits that I eat, Sherry, are berries. My dad, he lived on, I think back to how I know the information he was being given, telling him that he should be eating cornflakes and Rice Krispies and Raisin Bran and grape nuts and all of those things with skim milk. You were supposed to go low fat, drink the skim milk, and then he would use, saccharin, whatever. It's just such horrible, 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 horrible advice. And I don't know that we've gotten much better from providers to begin to be really honest. But I do know that when it comes to fruit, that he was told that fruit obviously was very important. Fruit has fiber. You need that fiber. So he ate a ton of oranges and bananas. Super bad idea. Basically, the lay of the land is different once you are insulin resistant. Once you're insulin resistant, your number one goal is to turn it back. Let's go back to our bodies functioning and being metabolically flexible again before this gets any further. So you cannot eat fruit with sugar and go back. You cannot eat grain and go back. I mean, I know that I'm a very narrow these are all my opinions, right? Based on the people that I love to follow, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Eric Berg, Maria Emmerich. Okay. So this is where I'm taking my thought process from, and I've just found it to be true for myself. When I first started to trade out my food ingredients, my goal was to stop eating so much processed food. But over time, I was just eating still way too many starchy vegetables because I love sweet potatoes. And I especially love sweet potato fries, like from Red Robin. And I was just allowing myself way too much lenience, and it just wasn't going anywhere. If your insulin and your sugars are high, you literally can't lose weight. But if you don't know that, if nobody's ever told you that, you just stay on your hamster wheel thinking that, oh, I'm just not working out enough. I'm just not counting my points properly enough. I'm just not intermittent fasting enough, which I'm not against that. That's a good thing. But I'm just saying, you're just thinking that it's everything other than, oh, I do make that smoothie in the morning and I put a half a banana in there. Well, now you've just spiked your sugars. And if your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And then you go have lunch and you think, well, at least the bread is gluten-free. Well, you ate grain. Now you just spiked your sugars. And if your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And sugars and insulin, they go together, right? But I'm just saying, oh, I have that keto bread from Aldi's. Okay. You just spiked your sugars. And then, because they're telling you that whatever formula they're making up to market to you, that bread is keto. But that's a lie. If you're spiking your sugars, you're calling on more insulin. Insulin is trying to take the glucose and shuttle it into your cell. If your cell is closed, it can't take in the glucose. So it basically says no more, and it closes the door. So when it closes the door, the insulin is going to store all of that extra glucose as fat because it's a fat storing hormone. Now your cell does not have energy because it did not become sensitive. It doesn't have energy. You're exhausted. You're gaining weight, or at least the very least, you're not losing weight. And you are so dang frustrated. And you're wondering, why am I on this cycle over and over and over and over? So, I mean, I know that's a long answer, but I just want people to understand, wake up in the morning and eat eggs, eat steak. Eat sausage. You can find better sausages than not. You can find better, ingredients on everything that you buy. You can find go do a little bit better. Just do a little bit better. Just do a little bit better. Right. And stabilize your blood sugars and feel how that lasts you for so long. You feel full. You feel satiated. You're over time, you can literally feel your hormones thanking you. I mean, you literally can especially for us women, we need that good fat. Our brains need the fat. I mean, men need that too, but I'm just saying, from a female perspective, you're wanting that brain fog to go away, and you're wanting your hormones to be, that's the feeling that we want. And I'm telling you, when you start to eat like this, high protein, moderate, good fats, the butter, the lard, get the animal fats. It's only been since the Industrial Revolution that we have been told to believe that everything should come from a crop. This is, why do you think 50% of Americans are type 2 or pre-type 2? It's the lobbyists. Matt says he's never seen oil come from a seed. That is right. That is right. Thank you for the follow, Christy. Fruit does have fiber, but when you are, no. See, I totally disagree. Fruit does have fiber. However, if you're taking it in a form of, there are better ways to get fiber that do not spike your sugar. Everything you put in your mouth, the question should be, is this spiking my sugars? If you are insulin resistant, you have to change the way that you are spiking your sugars. Fruit has lots of sugar. It does. It's so hard. It's so sad. Movie Mama, good to see you. You just came off insulin. You were type 2 insulin for 10 years. To stay off diet. Oh, golly, I'm so excited for you. She says she went vegan to stay off of dialysis. Good for you. Good for you. And that's actually really, to be honest, that's actually really hard to do, to be vegan and to not spike your sugars all the time. So you have found yourself a formula, however you've done that. And that is such good for you. Like, because I feel like that's most of the people that I talk to that are having a hard time, they're not being animal-based. Thank you for the follow. And being animal-based tends to make it easier just because then there's no grain involved. You're not spiking, etc. But God, it warms my heart so much to hear you say that that's the advocacy that you're taking for yourself. God, that is so good. Carla, you love my information. I had to tweak way down. Okay, see, this is a conversation. You had to tweak way down and substitute to bring your blood sugars down. Now you constantly read labels and you have formulated a list of products that are good for my body. I got tired of being on plateau for so many years. It will take a while to do the backstroke, but slowly but surely healing from the inside out. Yes. And that is really, I'm going to show that actually, because that is so important to understand. So when I started trading up my foods, I was just shy of my 51st birthday. And as I went, I started to feel better immediately because I was lowering my inflammation, and that does feel good. And I had started supplementing, and that was changing. Like I could tell by taking the trio, I could tell that my, wow, like the food noise, all of a sudden there was this quiet to allow me to be able to trade out my ingredients and to do things. And my appetite started coming under control. I noticed that my energy levels were increasing, that my sleep was shifting. I noticed, trying to think, the brain fog was a big piece of the puzzle. And when you can start to lift that fogginess off of you. But when it came to over time, it's like, okay, first step is you stop gaining weight. This was me. I shouldn't say everybody, because everybody's story is different. But for me, the first step was to stop gaining weight because I was going in the wrong direction big time. And then the second step was to start releasing weight. And so that was my direction, starting to release weight. And then, like Carla just said, she tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. And that's what I did. I tweaked and tweaked and tweaked until I could start to understand, okay, every time I eat this, I either stall out or I'm bloated, right? And then I did two things. It's kind of multifaceted. I started tweaking the foods that I was eating, and I teach a lot of this in the group. But at the same time, I started to also, because I don't just take the trio, I do take more than this. Okay, but this is where I started, and this is, in my opinion, that's the baseline. And then, yes, I do take, in fact, I need to close this so I don't, whatever. I do take other things for insulin sensitivity. I had my gut primer this morning, because my gut primer, what that does is literally makes it so that I can absorb nutrients. Most of what we're dealing with are nutrient deficiencies. I take a probiotic. I do things like that. I take adaptogenic herbs, like because I want my hormones to be happy, and so I do other things. But that's where it all started. And so I love the fact that you're saying that you did have to tweak, because I want you to be your best assessor. Become your own advocate. Become the person who assesses your world. You have to know where your sugars are at. You have to know what your conversation is with your doctor. And if you don't like it, then you need to trade out doctors. If I've had people say to me, I went to 3 different endocrinologists before I finally found somebody that I could have a conversation with. And that is okay. Like, you are the consumer. Whether it is a $3 copay, a $0 copay, or whatever, you're still the one paying for the insurance one way or the other. Whether it's through your taxes, or through your company, or it's through whatever, you're paying. You are the consumer of their services. They should not be running your life. You should be going to them and getting answers. And if you're not getting answers, find one that will give you answers. Find one that will help you align with what you're trying to do. If you're on my content and you're this far into my live, you are obviously wanting to be your own advocate. You are obviously wanting to have natural answers. You are obviously into the thought process of supplementation to work on your body at a cellular level. You're not here thinking that PHARMA is the best thing since sliced bread. We understand and we respect the information, but for something that is reversible, for something that is not terminal, this is criminal. That the only answer that they give you is that you can eat 150 grams of carbs a day. That's BS. And that you should have more meds and increased doses of meds. It's another level of BS. They are not helping you. If anything that they give you is not turning any around and changing anything, shift. Somebody else. Get yourself a continuous glucose monitor if that's what you need to do. Become your own advocate. Take back your body so that your body can serve you again. So that your body can serve you in making more memories. I walked around the state fair yesterday. I'm in Minnesota, by the way, so it's a really big deal around here. The Minnesota State Fair yesterday for, I don't know, a handful of hours, and the day before, same thing. Listen, I understand that, your legs can get weary, your hips can be, I'm 59, so, your hips are like, meh, like me, I should have worn different shoes, that kind of thing. But I wake up, I went to, both nights I went to bed, no, just last night. I took 2 of my turmeric, which is, oh my gosh, my turmeric, you guys. Chef's kiss on the turmeric. It's so absorbable. It makes such a difference. If you need info on that, let me know. But I took 2 of my turmeric and I went to bed. I wake up and just like the normal, I don't ache. Because I have such low inflammation in my body. Because do you understand that when you can get your insulin to come down, when you can get your blood sugars to come down, you're lowering your inflammation. You're turning back. You're going from insulin resistant. I should do it this way. You're going from insulin resistant. Let's go back to insulin sensitive. Let's go back to metabolically flexible. And your body will go, ooh, I can function again. That's what happens. It's so exciting. Thank you so much for the follow. Greetings. Good to meet you all. It's probably cortisol starting being ashwagandha. Notice the ashwagandha is such a big deal. It is such a big deal with anything that's cortisol and stress. And I just know that when I started taking the ashwagandha in May, my sleep, that was the first thing that I noticed. And then the second thing that I know, my sleep got better. And I noticed a sense of well-being in my body. And girls, you're just going to have to know that, go back to when you were an adolescent and you could feel like, oh, I'm going to get my period, or, oh, something's off, or something, where you started to become really in tune to your body. Well, that's kind of what I feel like when I take my ashwagandha. It's all of a sudden, I'm like, it's just a sense of well-being. And it's because I love adaptogenic herbs so much. And so if you are wanting to start an ashwagandha routine, or wanting to start a routine for the trio, let's just say, like, you could say to me, I was on your live, I want a cart that has the trio in it along with the ashwagandha. And I have one customized. I will send it to you. and you can see all 4 of those products in one place. Sometimes people are like, I need the trio and carb blocker. Like that's a whole different conversation, blocking your sugar spiking, or the turmeric. Because did you know that most turmeric is not very absorbable into your system? But mine is. It's an extract. And so if you take 400 milligrams of the turmeric that I take, it's like taking 6,000 milligrams of another one. And it literally says on the bottle, it helps with discomfort and pain from exercising. And no supplement company makes the claim on pain. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. You're risking your reputation. But they've obviously proven it. And so that's so, so, so important. So Carla says that she started the trio and the gut reset. Okay, here, I'm going to put this up there, Carla. I appreciate you, Carla. So she started the trio and the gut reset. That's what I took this morning on August 15th. Okay, so that's not even 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. You notice this week that you're getting up bright-eyed and ready to start the day. You have more energy and a lot less brain fog. That's fantastic, Carla. Thank you for sharing that. So 2 weeks. So sometimes people will say, how long before you notice certain things? Yeah, vicious cycle. I know. These are vicious cycles. You guys are having chats over there. It is. It is. But I'm just telling you, like, does Epstein-Barr have anything to do with this? Good question, Judy. I will look that up. Carrie, good to see you. You go to our fruits and berries, apples and red grapes. Should I change to only berries? Yes, Sherry. In my opinion, absolutely. I know. And it doesn't mean that you are metabolically inflexible forever. Depends on where you are in your world. But you know what? If you're trying to actually get results, like you're trying to get off of meds, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to, your sleep is off, you're trying to fix something. Sometimes you just gotta squeeze it down. And that doesn't mean forever necessarily, right? Like let's get you metabolically flexible and get you to where your goal is. And then we can talk about opening it up, right? But you got to squeeze it down for just a minute. Oh, Jenny, thank you. Thank you for saying that. She says, thank you for your passion in getting the message out there. Lorraine, what do I, boy, I think I'm behind. I apologize, you guys. Yes, you can reverse type 2 diabetes. What do I take? The trio. You're welcome, Judy. The trio are the 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I started these over 10 years ago. I started talking locally to people and having people come back with the conversation about like my one guy was like, order me some more of those diabetes pills. I was like, what? Okay, let's talk, and I started to locally get results for other people. And then I went online and now I have results with people all over the country and in Canada. And so it's very exciting to me. It's exciting for me. And the reason why it excites me probably the most is because it's literally like giving the system the finger. Can I say that? That's how I feel. My dad died with a Lazy Susan full of medication, scripts. And he was given really, really, really bad information on how to eat. We're still given that bad information today, 28 years later. Can you imagine that they are still not giving us good information? Can you imagine that they're still telling us, like, by the way that they came out with a recent study in the last year, that it's healthier to eat Lucky Charms than red meat? Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, you guys, who's funding that, right? Come on. We are not this stupid. We have to stop. When you have fatty liver in your kids, come on. This is reversible. You can do things at a cellular level. Ugh, ticks me off. The finger with both hands. Yes, Carla, read between the lines. No, what is it? This way. Read between the lines. That's so funny. That is so funny. Oddly. So this is what I affectionately call the trio. And if you go to, let's see, you are on my Instagram. I have to think about where I'm at. If you go to my profile right there, my profile, At the top, you'll see a pink highlight bubble, and that's going to give you bunches of testimonies, bunches. Like, take 5 minutes and go through the bunches. But then if you go down, you're going to see my link, and button number 2 has a cart with all 3 inside of it. All 3. Super easy to find. But you can always message me. Everybody should always feel free to message me and ask me questions, because this is literally what I do. This is literally what I do. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So anyway, so that's why that just ticks me off. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so I'm going to just review. And then if you need anything today, let me know, okay? Like, message me if you need a cart, if you need information on the trio, ashwagandha, turmeric, the gut primer, probiotic, whatever you're looking for. Let's streamline your life. Yesterday, somebody needed to fill in with a bunch of minerals because she found out she was super deficient. I have an answer for that, okay? Like, I can help. Anyway, 5 signs that you have insulin resistance potentially, and then 5 things that you can do to turn it back around. And I'll just go through these quickly. Number 1, afternoon crash because you don't have energy. Number 2, hormonal acne. This is why there's this connection with PCOS, and it's because there's elevated testosterone. Number 3, high blood pressure. Insulin resistance is causing you to retain water, which makes your blood pressure go up. Number 4, belly fat. You could either be having weight gain or inability to gain weight, but you might be just keeping stuff right here in your belly, okay? Number 5, sugar cravings and or you're hangry. Okay, those are the 5 signs of insulin resistance potential. There are many others, but those are the 5 we talked about today already. And then to turn things back, number 1, like, for real, if you will get hard on this one, you're going to find so much benefit. Eliminate grain, sugar, and starchy vegetables. And that's why we do ingredient trade outs in the group, Ditch on Resistance for Women. And we do a challenge in there every single month. And the next one starts on September 9th, because you can trade out your ingredients and love the food you eat. You can still be a foodie just like me. I'm an Italian foodie. Number 2, stress management. I have to do a puzzle piece here. So number 1, eliminate grain, sugar, and starchy vegetables. I have to verify stuff on TikTok. That's what I'm doing. Number 1, eliminate grains, sugar, and starchy vegetables. Number 2, stress management. Get your stress under control. Get your sleep under control. I have a lot of customers that are nurses that have high cortisol because of their jobs, that have high intense lifestyles that need help, because cortisol and insulin are 2 hormones that are messing you up. And so we can take care of both of those. Oftentimes that is the trio and ashwagandha. The trio and ashwagandha. Number 3, proteins and healthy fats at every single meal. Eat the eggs, eat the meat. Eat the things that will stabilize your blood sugar, that will, like, literally not even barely make a blip on your radar. You are going to be so happy to not have those blips and to get animal fat for your brain and to get animal fat for your hormones. You'll be so much happier. Number 4, strength training. Building muscle actually helps to stabilize your blood sugars. And then the last one is supplementation. Specifically, there are things that you can do, like the trio does have chromium in it. That's a trace mineral. Vitamin D, if you need a good vitamin D. I have one that's not synthetic. Stop buying synthetic stuff that they are making up for you. This is sourced from mushrooms. It's like 30 cents a day. Like, it's a joke, but it's a real source. Okay. Magnesium. Make sure you're getting a good magnesium. I recommend a glycinate blend. That one I don't have. I don't have that in my line. Okay. But I did talk about it in my stories last night. So you can look in my Instagram stories or my Facebook personal page, Kirsten Liebelt. And I showed it last night in my stories as I was going to bed, because I'm taking 2 magnesium and 1 ashwagandha every night before I go to bed. And those are the ways that you can, like, see if you're insulin resistant, think about it and what you can do about it. And then reach out to me if you need anything. Carla says, great live. Thanks for your passionate info. It's good to hear repetition. You need it every day. You hope Everyone has a beautiful day. God bless. God bless you, Carla. See you later. Repetition is literally the mother of all skill. Like this is either easy or it's not. This is either simple or it's extremely complicated. You have to choose. You can't have it both ways. If they want you to think that this is super complicated and that you need all of this really hard information, like you're not smart enough and wise enough to really figure this out on your own, you're better off just take these scripts. Like we'll fix it for you. This is so much easier than you thought it was. So I love. Nana, thanks for the follow. Yes to all of this, Kim. Yes. So if you need anything, let me know. I'm going to jump off and I'll be back at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. If you want to get into the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, you'll get tagged in a free recipe pantry PDF. And I think you'll really appreciate that. It's a good place to start. And then we have a challenge starting on September 9th. It's totally free. You don't even have to sign up for it. It'll be in the group. And I will go live every single day. You're welcome at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So have a very blessed day, you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. I'm not hard to track down because I just keep showing up. See you later.